Hi, my name is Sari Boykins, and today we will analyze international business in Mexico and talk about how they have advantages, challenges, globalization, and how other countries can be affected by this. Now, let's talk about some of the advantages about Mexico. One, they're very close to the U.S. border, about 3 hours away, which is very good because when it comes to the U.S., they have a huge market across the whole entire world. Mexico is very cheap, only about 40 to 50% lower than the manufacturing than the US. Mexico is not new to this, but they're true to this when it comes to infrastructure development. They've been doing it since the 60s. They have also been having trade deals with Canada and the US since the 90s. For example, when it comes to the auto industry, you got companies like Tesla that brings in a lot of consumers. And since Mexico is very cheap, they're obviously going to bring in, they're obviously going to try to invest some business. But Mexico also bring in diversity, like furniture, computers, soda, and Tabasco. When it comes to the soda, one of the most known sodas in Mexico and Mexican culture is Coca-Cola. Now we gotta talk about some of the challenges for Chinese companies. First thing we got to talk about is the pandemic and how it affected the supply chains and made companies in China very vulnerable, especially when it comes to the location, the global location. We're dealing with networks. China has tried to pursue foreign investments to alternate to make an alternate when it comes to Mexico. But the thing is, for many years, China has been the number one in importation when it comes to importing goods to the U.S. But in recent years, Mexico has surpassed them when it comes to importation of goods. And Mexico and China is trying to follow the lead, trying to do what they can to catch up to Mexico. Now, if we got advantages, then we gotta talk about some of the challenges. If you're thinking about doing any type of business with Mexico, we got three main factors: infrastructure, workforce, and crime. When it comes to infrastructure, Mexico population is growing rapidly, so you gotta deal with a shortage of water and power outages that can endanger industrial activities and population growth. When it comes to the workforce, there might be a low unemployment rate, but the wages is very low. So what some workers do, they rather go to the US because the US have higher wages. There's also very high demand, which create talent and competition, but also wage inflation. Some workers even get poached by other companies. Then we have to talk about crime, especially the cartel. In some cases, you would think the cartel is the government because the government has done shady business with the cartel. Some government officials have been assassinated by the cartel, which might make it very hard for other countries or companies to do deals with Mexico. Now we gotta talk about globalization. Mexico is a booming town. Companies buy up a lot of space, which rent goes up. You also have to deal with some of the heat, but since the population is going up, that means exportation. When it comes to Mexico, they are very successful with demonstrating development through trade and investments. However, technology will change the import when it comes to labor markets of the globalization. In conclusion, when it comes to doing business and looking at the business of doing stuff in Mexico, there is the advantages, the disadvantages. We see how other countries like China are affected, and we see about the globalization dealing with Mexico. And here are some of my references that I use for my presentation. I hope every I hope all y'all have a great day, and I'll see y'all next time.